actually shared your first race car. You didn't both have one. You shared the car. What was that like? I mean, did you enjoy that?
No, not at all.
But a guy gets starting to win 75, 50, 75% of the time he comes out, and now all of a sudden there's a lot of people in the pits that they don't like that guy.
They keep you on cheater.
He's cheating.
Winning. If you're winning, you're cheating.
Nobody can win.
Little Bobby will bounce back. He'll be all right.
He'll be all right. He'll be all right. Before you know it, Wes will be laying on the front stretch at Charlotte with him again, helping him hug the trophy. So all will be well in the Bobby Pierce world. You guys tell me, how many times does somebody beat the truck fair and square? I'm not talking about breaking or anything like that. How many times do you get beat in that truck at Thunder Mountain this year?
0.
And welcome to a brand new edition as the season winds down, Wes Lanham of Dirt Racing and the Bluegrass Live, presented by Bluegrass Restoration and Construction. This is the Wilson Plumbing Studio. You can call the Absolute Seamless Gutters hotline here this evening. That number is 859-412-1287. But yeah, like I said, man, it's crazy to think, but the season's winding down on us real quick and fast, and we've got I don't know, maybe a month or so left, really, and it's about all we've got for 2024.
Yeah, it's crazy how fast this year has just flew by. We're sitting here, middle to the end of September, and it don't seem possible. I mean, that just shows you how quick years, just kind of the year just flies by anymore. And as the old saying goes, we was always told the older you get, the faster time flies by, and that's exactly true.
Yeah, man, it is. It's no, you're right about that. That's a crazy thing about life. I tell you. I mean, It is funny because, it's just absolutely, and I think once you have kids, really, to me, it seems like, like once Brantley came along, that's when time really just started, like, just absolutely flying by. It's crazy how that is, but that's the way it seemed for me.
Yeah, and, too, just the older they get, the faster it seems like it goes, You've got Brantley, and I got Annabeth. She's 10, be 11 next month, and it don't get any slower. It just keeps picking up momentum and going faster.
Yeah, it really does. It like I said, I mean, it just seems to just absolutely, elementary school and stuff, and Brantley, of course, and then I think part of it is that he keeps us so busy with everything he's doing, and it seems like every evening we've got something is already planned. That evening's already booked up. So, yeah, man, just time flies. I think Zane there said when you're having fun, it flies. That's the truth.
Yeah,
definitely
true.
Having fun. That is true.
Yeah, we're having fun, and it's flying by. So
yeah,
that's a true statement too.
Yeah, both. Absolutely, it is. Well, it's going to be a fun show here this evening. We do have Flyin Bryan Barber joining us here on the podcast, coming off his big win this past Saturday night at Rockcastle Speedway in the Sandy Adams Memorial. Of course, Bryan is definitely, I think, hands down one of the best drivers in the region, and but that was a big one for him there at Rockcastle, and really looking forward to just catching up with him, talking about his career, Bandit, all the stuff, because he's been in the sport for so long, and we've never had a chance to get him on here, so I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we've tried several times, and Brian's busy like the rest of us, so just glad to be able to have him on tonight. So we're really looking forward to that. If everybody would just share this out, and let's get as many people on as we can. Gonna have another great show tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Please do. Please share this out. We always try to do all we can. To be honest, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I've really slacked on the advertising part of things this year. Last year I was doing just a whole lot more. I'll tell you that, as far as ahead of time trying to get people on here, and this year I've definitely slacked off on all that. Our numbers. I was gonna mention this too because it's funny. You know, last year. We sort of celebrated reaching 2 million people. Well, I'm going to tell you, Wes, we're not even in the ballpark this year. We've done things a little bit different this year, though. I feel like we've been a little less, I don't know, busy, I would say. Even as far as some of the stuff we were doing at the race, at the track, and you know, some of that stuff. But it's been a lot of fun this year, and I feel like we've been able to, you know, keep up with the goal really of the podcast, and that's just, you know, keeping it regional and keeping our local guys and having plenty of local drivers and stuff on here. So, and that's fun. And so I guess when it comes down to it, I'll trade the fun for the numbers any day, because I've got a full-time job and you do too. So
yeah, well, we're still having fun doing this, and we always, you know, try our best to, you know, have fun at it, and you know, just having our local drivers on and going to our local tracks, and still doing what we set out to do. Just been a little different this year, and you know, we're going to do it kind of the way we want to, and we can kind of, you know, change things up as we want to. That's like us having some of those, you know, whatever Wednesdays. Those are fun, just kind of random. You know, topics to talk about, whatever everybody wants to talk about. Those are good. So now we're still rolling. We're gonna ride this wave till it ends.
Yeah, and it's fun too, because we've got a solid group. We've got a solid group on here every Wednesday, you know, that we can pretty much count on, and that's fun too. Just, it almost feels like every Wednesday you're coming just hanging out with a group of buddies and seeing the comments and all that kind of stuff too. So you know, it's just a really fun thing. I'll tell you something that's going to be really fun, Wes. We've talked about I don't know, probably close to 2 years now of the sort of, I guess, a dream of having the dirt racing and the Bluegrass House Car. Ever since the Crown Vic stuff came about, I said I've got to get into that. So today I went up to Portsmouth and came home with a Crown Vic. So. So we've talked about it for a long time. I went up there, bought the thing this morning. Pretty much spent all day fooling with it because my plan is, man, I'm going to tell you, I'm not wasting any time. My plan is, if it works out, to be at Richmond Raceway on Friday night to try that Crown Vic out. So we'll see how that goes.
I'm tickled to death for you, man. I'm just awesome for that to happen, and man, like I said, just tickled to death. Hopefully everything works out, and hopefully you crew chief worldwide will be there with you on Friday night.
Yeah, I hope so. And we've already come up with a plan. Yeah, I told you last night. You know, I think it all comes down to this. You know, win or lose, I think it's on the crew chief, really. I think when it comes down to it, especially lose. You know, if I win, I'll probably take some of the credit, but if I lose, it's probably going to all be on the crew chief. But that's just the pressures of being a crew chief, man, when it comes down to it. You know, but I did send you a challenge. I said, look, we go out there, win 2 races, we'll move that seat around in my car, buddy, and I tell you what, the crew chief will take over. But that's the goal. That's the plan. We got to get there. You said we're going to get there.
Challenge accepted. So, yeah, we're gonna get there.
Yeah, but I do think it'll be a lot of fun.
Really, it's gonna be a blast.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Clarence said put a slider seat in so you can share the driving. That's what we'd have to have for sure. It'd have to be a slide, because I tell you, your legs are a little longer than I am, and you'd probably have a hard time fitting in a car that's made for my legs. So
yeah.
But no, it'll just be a whole lot of fun. that's the plan. That's the goal, anyways, is to have fun with it. I guess my main goal, this podcast is more important. So I don't want to make any enemies. That's one goal. We can't be going out there making enemies on the racetrack, Wes. We just can't do it. It put us in a bad spot for dirt racing in the Bluegrass. But really just to be able to go out there and have fun. And I think that there's a way, especially with these Crown Vics, to be able to go out there and do that. So we're gonna find out.
And have it wrapped with dirt racing in the Bluegrass live, and like I told you, it's cool because wherever you, me, wherever we go and race, that everybody's going to see that on the track and walking through the pits, and then they'll start asking questions, and it's just cool to to get our name out there more, and just another outlet to do that.
Yeah, it is for sure. And I've already talked to Taylor. Sarah says Taylor's the OG crew chief. He is for sure. We'll have multiple crew chiefs on this car. Really, truth be told, Tyler Rigsby's always been a huge help to me. Of course, he's been my best buddy since we could walk almost, and he always has been, and it's just Trevor Gum, talking to them, and so part of it's going to be getting some of those guys back that I don't get to see very much, lately, just because everybody's busy and going separate ways. So that's all just going to be a whole lot of fun, going out there and racing with all these guys that we know so well. And hopefully, trying to keep up with them a little bit, but we'll have to see one step at a time. We'll have to go out and make sure to go in circles first. We'll have to see about that. So
we're gonna have fun one way or another.
Yeah, one way or another.
Yeah, just looking forward to that, because just a fun opportunity, man. And like I said, I'm just so happy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know you are, and like I said, we'll have a good time with it. I brought it home this evening, made a couple trips up and down my road just to make sure everything ran out. So I think my neighbors hate me again already. It's been a while since I had a race car. They was like, oh man, he's got another race car again. So I'm sure that I messed up their TV watching for the evening. So, but really looking forward to it. Like I said, if everything works out, we'll be at Richmond on Friday in the Crown Vic. So we'll see and do our best to make that happen for this coming Friday night. So, let's go ahead and take a quick commercial break here, and I think we've got Bryan Barber lined up here. He's in the hot chute, and
he's in the chute.
He's in the lineup chute. He's ready to go. So we'll take a quick commercial break, get him on here, and I think this will be a really fun conversation. So we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Chris Lowry with Bluegrass Restoration and Construction. From simple service work to full paints, roofing, flooring, and everything in between, we're your one-stop shop for your home maintenance and remodeling needs. Our family has been serving the Richmond area for 3 generations, and we're proud to continue that today. You also voted us the best general contractor in Madison County in 2022. We thank you for that honor. Give us a call for all your construction needs at 859-353-1133.
And welcome back to Dirt Racing in the Bluegrass Live, presented by Bluegrass Restoration and Construction. This is the Fast Track Plumbing guest segment. No one reminded me of this, but you know what? I just randomly realized about the middle of last week. I'm pretty sure I didn't mention Fast Track, one of our sponsors last week. We didn't have a guest. So I had to give them a little extra shout out here tonight on the podcast. We appreciate them and their support as well as all of our other supporters. This is also Bryan Barber. We're now joined by Flyin Bryan Barber. He is the Wayne's Auto Repair Driver of the Week as well. So we'll throw all that out there right here, right off the jump, man. But Bryan, it's good to have you on here with us this evening.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for having us on. Glad we could finally get caught up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know we've tried to connect several times, and it just hasn't worked out. So just glad to have you on tonight, buddy.
Yeah, thank you a lot.
Yeah, I know we talked to you a couple times. Wes talked to you maybe one other time, but we're usually like very last minute, to be honest with you, on trying to get this stuff lined up. So really, it's not your fault; it's our fault. Because we're usually like Wednesday sometimes, man. We gotta have some. We need to get somebody on, and we've wanted to get you on a couple of times, but I know you're busy too with with business and all kinds of stuff you've got going on. So.
Yeah, man, I stay covered up. It's a 24/7 whirlwind sometimes.
Yeah, I bet it is. I'd say so. Well, we got to talk to you first of all. You're coming off a big weekend this past Saturday night, a big win there this past Saturday night at Rockcastle Speedway for the Sandy Adams Memorial. I even saw a post on Facebook, I believe, dedicating the win to Jeff Gullett, and so but overall, that's a big win, a big weekend for you. Kind of holding down the turf there at one of your home tracks. You race all around here, but I know that was a big one.
It's always really cool to win around home, and everything with Jeff. Had known Jeff a real long time, and raced back when I was racing late models, raced pretty hard with him when he was with Jaeger and that kind of stuff, and got to know Jeff pretty good. And actually, I was kind of who connected him with the Ratliffs when all that happened, because they had some of our mods, and it just happened to work. And I actually got to spend the first we was in Florida and actually met Jeff down there, because he had actually been with Michael England and them, and then come on over for the mod portion. And we stayed the week together, and just had a lot of good times and memories with Jeff, and that made it a little extra special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I bet it did. Just seeing the outpouring from the racing community, so many people with so many stories they had about Jeff Gullett, and racing memories, and just and so many things. It's like he was so well known and so well thought of in this racing community.
Yeah, he was. I think Jeff was always good to man about anybody. If you ever got to talk or know with Jeff, everybody loved him. So
yeah.
Just one of those deals. Always sad, no matter who it is. But Jeff was so special in the Central Kentucky area.
Yeah.
And that's it, man. He was special in the state of Kentucky, but everybody in the racing deal across the United States knew Gullett. I mean, that's just one of them things, and to hear all the stories, and we needed this one night, nobody else had it. He was like, here, it's like he was one of them. He was Johnny on the spot. He could fix anything, had anything you needed, and if you needed the shirt off his back, he'd give you that too.
Yeah.
I mean, that was him in a nutshell. And he's so going to be missed on and off the track, both. He was just a great man.
Yeah, for sure. Well, tell us about about your night there on Saturday. Of course, we said you picked up the win. Tell us a little bit about the on Saturday.
Oh, it's starting to get, I don't know if it's my internet. It's starting to kind of cut in and out. Can you guys still hear me?
I can hear you, but I've lost Josh.
Uh-oh. How about now?
Got you now.
I heard that good.
All right, good. Yeah, we're good. Tell us about the race on Saturday.
Oh, well, it ended it was a little rough and tumbly there, but for what those guys was dealt with the rain and all that, they done a really good job. We started out the night. We was a little tight. We ended up third quick. I think we ended up running second. The dash is a tough deal for Blake there. I think he broke maybe something with his motor. But I felt like we had a good car. I felt like we had a car that could possibly compete. Just ended up we didn't get to see. But anyway, it was someone was kind of poking fun at me because I kind of ran the top all night, and I don't normally, that's not really my style anymore.
Yeah.
But I really felt like I was running the smoothest line on the racetrack, so I didn't really know why nobody else was. Some was doing it, but not as many as should have been wasn't doing it. So.
Yeah.
or maybe that's just my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. Well, different track conditions. Maybe I guess call for getting up on the wheel and getting up on the fence and having to do what you have to do on a given night.
Yeah, it was definitely different. I mean, just filling it out and getting through that. If I got my brakes a little too much, the frame was in the ground. If I got in the corner a little too hard, the frame was in the ground. So it was just kind of finding that sweet spot and just trying to ride through it and be consistent.
Yeah. And you mentioned Blake braking there. Of course, unfortunately, he had issues and didn't give you guys a chance there to race it out. As a competitor, I'm sure that's probably, you mentioned it. You hated to see it. That's probably something you enjoy is going to head to head with these guys. Seeing who can win on a given night.
Yeah, absolutely. You always. Anybody there, it's anybody that shows up, you want everybody to have the fair shot, and
right.
Sometimes you're the winner, sometimes you're the loser, but it just makes you try harder and come back next time.
Yeah. I could see that. Well, I talked to Wes. We talked about this. You've been around the sport for a long time. Had a big part in it. You've Bandit race cars. You've had that business. You've had that going for a long time now. How much has that changed for you over the years? How hard is it? I've always been curious. Owning a race car, competing at the same time. How tough is that? How, as far as time and just in general?
Yeah, it's really tough. When I first started, I raced open wheels 2 years, about 2.5 years, and kind of decided, we was going to let me get some first laps in a late model, and man, I love the speed of the late models, and we were starting to build more cars at that point, and I thought it would probably be a wise choice to move on, out of that division and focus on other things. And as time evolves, you just I had a lot of good people that I drove for and had decent success in a late model. But, as it went on, we decided, after my son was born, we kind of made the choice. We decided we was going to go back to the open wheel and just kind of to make our hay there. And, it is tough. It's tough one thing is tough to have the time to race in general. Anybody that's races knows that's a full-time job besides your jobs. Then if you get to you're building 25, 30 cars a year, then you've got all those people to service. You got your car to service. And, it's probably why I've raced a really long time, but there's probably guys raced half my time. It's raced more races than I have. We've never been that 40, 50 night a year person. Always been more in the 20 to 25 range. I think the most I've ever ran in a year when I was running with Clippinger in a late model was like 51. Mm-hmm. That really wasn't for me. It didn't really fit into what I needed to be doing business wise. And other than that, the most I've ever ran was in 2013. I think we ended up running like 31 nights. So again, I've raced a long time, but there's guys with half the time that I've got in years that's got more race time in than me.
Yeah, I've noticed that lately. You don't race every weekend. I've noticed that you don't race as nearly as often as some of these guys we see. These days, 2 or 3 times a weekend. Some of them. So.
Yeah, it's we've wanted to race a little more this year, but the rain has kind of hurt us on some of it. I think we've only got in 13 nights so far. So this year, we definitely was gunning for low 20s. I was hoping to kind of crack. Seems like the last 2 or 3 years, 18 to 20 has been about where we've ended.
Yeah. That's a good number, I'm sure too. And Greg mentioned this here just a minute ago in a comment. He said top 3 cars at Rockcastle were all Bandits on Saturday night. That's got to make you feel proud too. I feel like it would be tough from a competition standpoint. You got to make sure you're taking care of yourself. You got to make sure you're running good, but you also got to make sure as an owner, as a chassis builder, you got to make sure the people in your cars are running good too.
Yeah, as hard as it may be for some people to believe, that's probably more important to me than my success. I hold myself to a pretty high standard. It don't matter what I'm doing. So competitive wise, I've always had a super competitive nature. So I'm not one to not let my people know what I've got going on. I'd rather decide, let's settle it on the racetrack. I don't want anybody to have, I try not to hold that stuff back. That's just the type of person I am. It don't matter what we're doing or what we're playing or what we're in. That's just how I am. So
yeah.
Would you say that
hard because it's not always, is that the common feel, and if they've got one of my cars, they're more than welcome to come over there and crawl under it. That's just how I try to keep it.
Look at what you've got. Would you say that's probably one of the biggest keys to your success as a chassis builder is being willing to be open with people and all the people that are in your race cars? It sounds to me like you're not picking and choosing. Yeah. This guy, I'm going to give him a little bit more than maybe the next guy. But
no, not at all. It's what I love most about racing is they could be 6 people get in my car and drive it after I do, and 3 of them may love it and 3 of them may think it sucked. It's that's the biggest challenge is we all use our feet different, and that's what I love about the sport. Not the same stuff works for everybody. Right. So I like kind of being that guy that can maybe go with them and break it down and see, hey, here's where we're missing, and I really enjoy that more than. I love racing just because I'm a competitor, but I'm getting to the end of my road here. We counting them down, so I'm still I'll go and always going to be around it because what I love to do.
Sure. Yeah.
So throw coach and crew chief and supporter under that hat as well.
Yeah, I love it all, man. I honestly, going and I like the crew chief side of it or the coach. Some people don't mind. Hey, give me some advice. What am I doing wrong? And some people it's all the car, and that's okay. I've experienced and heard it all through the years. So
I'm sure you have.
Oh yeah. I imagine. Well, you got to throw Dad in there too. We see Jackson sitting over at the side of the screen. So
I can't believe he went this long without talking.
I know, man. I was waiting on him to cut in there any time. But I imagine that has to be a lot of fun too.
Yes.
I see his stuff on social media and seeing him at the track with you. I've got an 8-year-old right now. To be honest with you, we talked about this some last week. He's not into racing at all. He loves sports, so I'm not going to complain. Maybe one of these days he'll come around. We'll see. But that has to be a lot of fun too, being able to share that.
It is. My dad will be 73 in November, and he still hits it just as hard as I do. He's that car of mine, it's 24/7. He's doing something with it. If you was to come in here and look at my car right now, I mean, we've only raced it 13 times, but we've did some testing and stuff, and it still looks brand new. You could get underneath it and be like, have you raced this thing? I mean, he's just he's so into what he does and so serious with it, and I appreciate that.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
And Jackson, he's he's kind of the light of all of us. The rest of us are kind of pretty calm face, but he's the smiley needed face that we need. that keeps me pumped up.
Yeah, a little motivation. Yeah, coming
right.
from him. Yeah, so
Well, it's definitely good always to see the three of you at the track wherever we're at. I know Jackson always makes a point to come and find me and shake hands with me and talk whatever. But it's always good to see you and Jackson and your dad at the track.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I guess I've been going to the racetrack now 44 years or so. I'd say it's probably 2 years old when I first went. So I'm 46 now. It's been a long road there.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got to talk to you a little bit about this too while we've got you on here, because like I said, I know you've been in this sport, you've been involved with modifieds for so many years now. You've seen ebbs and flows, I'm sure, and everything coming and going with that particular car. There's a lot of, I guess we call it scuttlebutt, and I feel like even more this year that I've heard. There's issues with modifieds. They're this, they're that. They've got so many issues. People, they're cheating. This all the stuff you hear normally. It's racing, right? It's like that conversation has always been there, but it seems to be more for whatever reason at this particular time with modifieds. That there's an issue there. You hear people say they're there's the car counts are dropping, all this kind of stuff. In some other ways, though, you can look at it. I heard somebody looked it up the other day, and the number of cars that had entered our tracks here in this area, and it was a very high number, surprisingly. What is your take on all that? Do you hear the same kind of stuff that I'm hearing? Do you get all that, or am I throwing you for a loop?
Oh yeah, no, it's always, this stuff it's always up and down and all around, since, it's just different from back in the days when, Donnie Adams first did the first mods, around this area and, started building them and, you had 2 or 3 chassis builders come along, and then now you've got 30. I would say probably what changed the mod class more than anything, and some people knock it, some people don't like it. I look at it as the guys is just using their resources and being smart. I'm a stubborn guy, so I'm just a dumb old country boy. I don't really like asking people for help, and that's a big knock to me. But you've got guys that has gone to either lived or have gone to the Carolinas, and they bring a lot of technology and information from that land. And the only thing I dislike about that is it has driven the cost of things up. Technology costs, and you can't throw stones at those guys. They was being smart and using business savvy and surrounding themselves with the right people to make their stuff better. But more and more of that stuff is it's trickling out to others. And I don't think, you always hear the cheating this and cheating that. I don't believe in all that stuff. People just working on their stuff, and more and more people's having to pay more for things, because whether it's shocks or no matter what it is, we can complain about all that, but when we go to the grocery store, I complain too. So it's everything.
Let me ask you about this specifically. I hear this more than anything, and I'm just asking you this because we've got you on here, and I feel like if there's anybody that knows about this stuff, it's you when it comes to these modifieds.
I know what he's going to ask. I know exactly what he's going to ask.
Multiple times a night. And even throughout the week, the one thing we hear about over and over and over consistently is traction control. Like everybody, I don't have a clue. I have no idea. I don't know.
Right.
But that's the thing you hear. Do you hear that? But that's the thing we hear.
You do hear that, and I've been around this sport a long time. I can honestly 10,000% say I've never had it on a race car I've driven, and never would. But I know guys that do, or have, and I'm talking about good, successful racers. They're not in the sport no more, but they've won lots of stuff, and they hated it. So I think traction control for the what's that's out there, it can probably help. And I don't mean to throw nothing at anything. It could probably help somebody that's a mediocre racer.
Yeah.
But if you take your top guys that are able to go and travel around these places and win all around the country, those guys aren't on no traction control. I can almost assure you of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, why do you think it is? Because I'm telling you, I hear that. I'm telling you, we hear that all the time. Why do you think that is? Like, why is that the thing? Because the whole cheating thing, that's a part of racing. You're going to have, it seems like people are that's always a thing. But why is it the traction control, do you think? Why does everybody want to talk about that?
I think most people want to think about that with the mods is because I'd say overall a modified's probably the hardest car in the pits to drive. It's got the most horsepower on the smallest tire. So that is the easiest thing to pinpoint. Yeah. Maybe there is that help. That would just be my guess. I don't know, but I have heard that stuff for so long. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely out there. Well, and I always look at it, because people, it's always something. And next week it'll be on to the next thing. I feel like that's part of it. But I feel like sometimes people don't appreciate the experience aspect of this thing, the knowledge, the years of gaining this knowledge that it takes for these guys. And it's funny because anytime somebody tells me something, I'm always going at what can I find? Like, how can I prove this right or wrong? What can I is there another? Could there be something else to it? And one of the things that I see is any given week at any given track, you can almost go and look at the guys who are up front and winning. And they're almost always guys who've been doing this for years. I mean, I'm talking like years, a long time. And you got guys that haven't been doing it very long at all. Experience with this stuff, I feel like, matters. You look at just Rockcastle this past Saturday night. Jeff Watson wins late models. You win modifieds. You look at even the Crown Vic stuff. Tim Littrell has raced for years. He won Crown Vics, has won, I don't know for sure, I haven't been keeping track of it, but probably more Crown Vic races than anybody else that I would say anybody else. He's raced for years. And that sometimes is a thing that I think people don't take into account. This stuff is hard. There's so much to it. And these guys that have been doing it for years are daggone tough to beat. That's
that stuff is actually kind of laughable to me, but the best advice that I've got for people to believe that stuff is they'll become a lot more successful if they, instead of worrying about that, they get in their shop and work on their race car.
Right.
And some of the worst things that I see people do, and it's even customers that I've had or have in the past, is they always worried about what the next guy's doing. But if they just stay in their notebook and work on their race car, they're going to get the most out of that, because everybody up and down that pit lane does different things.
Right.
Sure. Yeah. And I would never look down on anybody, that say, a guy that's been racing for 3, 4, 5, heck, even 6 years, maybe they're not up front, not winning consistently. Well, I think part of it is you're going up against guys, and maybe even guys with people in their circle on their teams that have years and years of knowledge and experience that they've gained. And I think when it comes down to it, that's tough to beat at any class, if you look at them all. The guys that have been doing it for years are usually the ones that are winning and up front consistently.
Oh, it is. It's experience always pans out, no matter what it is, and you got to have it, whether it's simply somebody with you coaching you or somebody that's been there and did it over and over, and they're able to take a younger kid or somebody kind of fresh and, kind of groom them into hey, this is, what it is. I mean, just, well, for a good example, just like kind of what, Jeff Gullett did with Justin, I mean,
Right.
Shoot, how long there, and Justin won a Lucas Oil race. I mean,
Yeah.
that's it didn't take long.
Yeah. Yeah. He was rookie of the year, and, and you're right. Even though Justin himself didn't have a lot of experience at that time, he had people in his corner,
right?
Who had it.
Yeah,
that's right.
And that goes a long way, I think. All right, Wes, I've dominated this conversation. I normally do. It's kind of part of it. I dominate the interviews, but you got something surely for this guy while we got him on.
One thing I always like to talk about is it takes a lot of great people and sponsors, to help you throughout the years and just to get up and down the road and the race, when you're able to, and I always like to give the drivers opportunity to thank those folks.
Oh yeah, well, I've had lots and lots of them through the year, and years. Very, very thankful for all of them. Some of the biggest people that's been really influential in my career is like Dwayne Ragland with Motor State. He's not with us anymore, and Dwayne was kind of always a person that even though he wasn't my family, he believed in me like somebody in your family should, and it's special to have somebody like that, and then it's tough when you lose them. Of course, my dad, he's always pushed me from the time I was old enough to walk, I guess. It's probably made me the competitor I am, just because either I didn't want to let him down, or I wanted him to show him I could do something he might not have thought I could have. As far as so the sponsors go, right now I'm very fortunate. I got my buddy Cy Cundiff. He actually owns the car. Rocky Wilson with Parkway Service Center. He owns the motor. That makes things great. My dad, he don't 24/7 maintain it, but he almost does. He does a lot of it, and I pretty well take care of the tires and the shocks and the springs and all that.
Yeah.
Man, we've got a host of Fox Shocks has been with me for forever. All-Star Performance, Quick Car Racing Products, Willwood Brakes. We've got, let's see, the other BFT, ProQuip Solutions. I've got to count on my man over here.
He came in there when
he's holding me up here. Who else?
Mullins Racing.
Barnett, Hidden Meadow. Yeah, and somebody else I want to give that shout out to. And we don't run his motors. It's Dale Mears. Dale Mears Racing Engines. Dale was a big part of me getting started, where I started in this sport. And, he traveled with me a lot. And man, we had some great times on the road, and always looked up to Dale, kind of like a second dad. And he treated me so good. But yeah, there's been a lot through the years.
Yeah. Cool, man.
Jackson, get in there. We can't even see Jackson.
He's over here hiding out. Look, he got nervous on me holding the sticks the other night, and I can really see him good at Rock Castle. So when the race was over, I was like, he's like, well, you won pretty good. And I said, well, I couldn't tell by those sticks. You had them real close together. I got so tore up, I forgot what I was doing.
Oh, that's funny, man.
Not only is that a big win for Dad, but that's a big win for him too.
It was. Yeah. He had, he was close with Jeff, and Jeff loved kids, so he was great to everybody. But yeah, Jackson, that was important for him, and I was glad we was able to do that.
I bet. Yeah.
So I guess, Jackson, the question is, when are we gonna see you behind the wheel of a race car?
Yeah, we've been talking about this for a while, honestly. Dad says when I decide that I'm going to work a little harder in the shop is when I'll get to get behind the wheel. So I guess I'm going to have to work a little harder in the shop.
You need to work a little harder. We'll get that opportunity.
We've got the talking part down, but getting the hands dirty part, it's got a long way to go.
He's got a long way to go. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
well, I got you, man. Well, you're gonna have to get on that because time's ticking, man. You gotta get behind that wheel and start gaining some of that experience we were just talking about, because you got years to go. But now the good thing is you got people in your corner, just like we were talking to, that once you get behind that wheel, you're gonna have a lot of advantages that most people don't have. So.
Yeah, he thinks he's got an advantage, but we're going to see how that pans out, maybe. We'll see if he's got what it takes.
Let's start out with getting them hands dirty and some calluses on them, and then we'll go from there.
Exactly.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we can't wait to see it. I know good things are to come for you guys, Bandit Race Cars. And all that throughout in the end of the future. I'm sure, Bryan, you said there a minute ago you didn't have much left. I think you got plenty left. We're going to see you racing for years to come. Yeah. So
no,
looking forward to it.
I've got a time lapse. I know what it is, and I've kind of he knows, and so it's going to be sooner than later.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm not going to be one of these guys that tries to do it up until I'm way too old to be there. This is a young man sport. So, I'm smart enough to realize it. Nothing wrong with these guys out enjoying it at 50 plus years old. There's nothing wrong with that. But, I'm so competitive that I'm not going to be one of those. I'm going to end it when the engine's good. So.
Yeah, well, I hear you, man, and I completely understand that for sure. Well, guys, it's been a lot of fun having you on here. I'm sure there's so much more that we could talk about, but really glad that we were able to catch up with you. It's been so much fun, and we greatly appreciate you hopping on here with us this evening.
Yes, sir. Hey, thank you all for everything you do with the sport. I mean, we need that in our area, and it's great you guys do it.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate that. Yes, we have a lot of fun doing it.
Where y'all headed this weekend?
I don't know. If y'all gonna take that Crown Vic to Lake Cumberland for the Enduro, we might have to come, be a part of that.
Yeah, come check it out and see. I don't know if I'm ready for an enduro though. I've been out of the car. Let's see, what's it probably been? I'm just guessing, probably 4 years now. Besides the one race there at the one time we were in them at Richmond a couple of weeks back, but we'll see. We'll start at Richmond and
just
see
like
how
riding a bike.
How that goes. Yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see. It might be real quick and done and over. So we'll just have to see, but we'll have fun with it for sure.
That's the main thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, have a good evening. We'll see you
at
the races. Yep.
Thank you all very much. Y'all have a great night.
All right. Jackson and Flyin Bryan Barber joining us here. I'm glad he was there. It's it's always cool to see father son and that dynamic, and getting to hear about Jackson's what he needs to do to get behind the wheel.
It is, and like I said, it's always good to see the two of them, and then also Brian's dad at the track, because he may be getting up there in age, but age is just a number for him. He still goes at it 100 miles an hour when he's there with them at the track. So just a great racing family from Central Kentucky there.
Yeah. Well, let's go to the Absolute Seamless Gutters hotline here real quick, Wes. And tell us who we talking to on the podcast here this evening. Roberson. Oh, yeah, I got you. I hear you, Roberson. What's up, buddy?
Not much.
I'm
doing a great Jimmy Smith on a good run.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Jimmy ran second on Saturday at Rock Castle. Good run for that 7 car.
Yeah. Yeah, glad you brought that up. His first race back, so that was really cool to see. And kind of surprising, to be honest with you, but not really with knowing Jimmy. So, all right, where are you going to be this weekend, Roberson? Where are we going to see you at?
I'm going to be in Richmond.
Okay, all right, sounds good, man. We'll see you. We'll see you there, buddy.
We'll see you at Richmond, buddy.
All right, so
I think we lost him.
I think we lost him. So, but we can always count on Roberson, Wes. I'll tell you what, that's the good thing. So, yep. All right, well, let's go ahead and get to the Keltner Contracting Weekend Outlook. I'm totally unprepared for this, so I'm sure I'll leave something out going off the top of my head. I need you to help me with this, and I need you to help us in the comments too, because I don't want to leave anybody out. Literally right up till showtime tonight, I had no time to prepare. So I know we've got Richmond fast track this weekend, the Damn Yankees 50. That's Friday and Saturday night, so it's a 2-day show there at Richmond.
3,000 to win on Friday and 10,000 to win on Saturday.
Yep. So that'll be a big weekend over there at Richmond. 191 has a 2-day show this weekend. Supers.
Yeah.
Both nights. I think it's 3,500 to win.
3,500 on Friday and 7,500 on Saturday.
7,500 on Saturday. So they actually opened last Friday.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a big show for them over there. KDRA Series finale. That's on Saturday at Richmond, Lonnie Center's Memorial. So that'll be the finale for the series there at Richmond on Saturday. Mudlick, be honest, I'm not sure. I know Rockcastle's running. Somebody help us out if Mudlick's running. Somebody out there knows, I'm sure. Willard, any of those places.
1,500 to win at Enduro race, 100 laps at Lake Cumberland Speedway on Saturday.
Yep. So that'll
and all other classes.
Yeah. That's all I know of, but hey, I'll tell you a little secret, Wes. If anybody wants to do this, I don't know if he's still doing it, but Soxy always puts on his Facebook page every race, every weekend. He's got it on there. So if you ever want to know what's going on around there, you can do like I usually do and go to his Facebook page to get your information that I usually use on the show. So really appreciate him doing that. But yeah, you can go check Soxy out and he'll let you know what all's going on around there, because we wouldn't leave anything off on purpose, that's for sure. But he can help you out. So all right, let's do DirtmanDiecast.com Steak Dinner Pick'em Challenge. We're still 6-4, I believe, on this.
Still, let's see.
Nobody moved.
Still 6-4. We didn't move. Nobody won no points last weekend. So
yeah. So
still 6-4.
All right. So we're still there. Well, let's do. I'll tell you what. Let's do crates at Richmond on Friday, and then let's do crates at Richmond on Friday
and Saturday.
And Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. And then let's do supers for 191 on Saturday too.
Okay, that'll work.
All right. So crates at Richmond on Friday. I'll go first since I'm losing here. I've got to try to gain some ground here. I'm gonna go with Jason Barrett. He's been fast all year. Had some bad luck a couple times, but that would be a big win for him there with the Fast Track Series. $3,000. So I'm gonna go with Jason Barrett on Friday night.
Let's see. I'm gonna go with Skylar Marlar on Friday night.
Yeah, that's a good pick. So Saturday night, and man, I tell you, part of the struggle is always trying to figure out like who all is going to be there. But Skylar was really, he's got that crate car dialed in. That's a really good pick.
Yeah,
you know what
he's had a really good season with it this year.
I think I'm going to take him on Saturday.
Okay. Let's see. So Josh takes Skylar on Saturday. I'm going to go with Josh Dietz on Saturday.
That's a good pick.
Ran second there Saturday night. I know we really didn't talk about that much, but that was a really good American All-Star Crate Series race at Lake Cumberland. 10,000 to win last Saturday. But huge shout out to AJ Hicks. Ended up getting the pass. Hayden Cardwell had led the whole race, got behind a lap car late in the race, and tried to go up top around the lap car, and AJ slid to the bottom and ended up winning that race, and has a big one for the 64 team.
Yeah, man, what a race there. You and you got to be there, so really cool.
It was a dandy.
Cool that it turned out that way. Is American All-Stars, are they racing this weekend? Does anybody know? I don't know.
I think they're off this weekend.
If they're off, hopefully, because somebody said AJ Hicks, maybe he'll be there. You pull some of those guys in. Gunnar Johnson, are you coming to Richmond this weekend? So Gunner's on here with us. So catch some of those guys on a off weekend. Like to see them at Richmond this weekend too. So it's a big show. I mean, 3,000 and 10,000 for crates there, Friday and Saturday night. So
and then I think they give away a 604 both nights to the drivers in that.
They do, yeah.
They give away one 604 crate each night. That's in a drawing, so that'd be pretty cool. Gunner Man says he's possibly be there on Saturday. So
okay, yeah, that'd be good. I mean, 10,000 to win. Come on, crates. We want to see it. So, and I meant to mention this earlier too, and forgot. Bill and his family, his dad, they've been going through a lot this week.
Yeah.
So
thoughts and prayers with that family.
Yeah. So rolling on with things this weekend. And I know that's a tough thing to do. So really big. You know what? Let's throw another one on there, Wes. Well, let's do this too. It's the KDRA Superstock Series finale. Been a little while since we've picked one. Let's go ahead and do that at Richmond too for the Lonnie Centers Memorial.
Yes.
I'll give you first pick on that one. I'll give you first pick on 191 since I took both on these first two.
For the Lonnie Centers Memorial, I'm going to go with Dennis Roberson to get the win.
Yeah.
In the KDRA Super Stocks on Saturday night.
Yeah, that's he's a tough one to go against. I'll just tell you when it comes to those Super Stocks. He's leading the points right now. I don't know. He's probably close to having, if not already having the championship locked up. I know he's got quite a bit of a points lead there. It seems like, so he'll be tough to beat. Is the 35 car going to Richmond on Saturday night? It's I mean. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know if he is or not, but be a hard one to go against if he's there.
Yeah, that's true.
Man, I'm trying to think of who I want to go with here because it's just it's always tough to pick those guys. There's just a lot of good competitive drivers there. Matthew Norman was fast. At Rockcastle this past weekend. Or was that the weekend before? I can't remember.
I think it's the weekend before.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with. Let's see, Logan Preston. You know what?
Going with Logan Preston.
He's due, and he's due for one. And I just think this Richmond. Yeah, this could be the weekend right here. He picks up another win.
He
in that
is
Superstock
he is
with the
definitely
series.
due. So that's a good pick.
Yep. So all right, that's who I'm going with. All right, let's go 191. You get first pick Saturday. We'll just do Saturday.
All right, 191 Saturday. I'm going with Tyler Carpenter.
Yeah.
To get the W.
Hard to beat there. Anywhere it seems like he shows up, especially that top track. These smaller tracks. Man, Tyler's tough to beat.
He's tough on those little bull rings like that.
Yeah,
it don't matter where you take him. He is he's tough on those.
Yeah, he really is. I'm gonna go with Jared Hawkins. Saw where earlier he was going. I think Friday and Saturday he'd be there, so should be a good show. They've got a lot of cars lined up there that said they're coming. So
and I saw where Gunner Man said he'd be dancing on Friday night with Fouts at Mountain Motor Speedway.
Yeah,
big news coming out of 191 with Brandon Fouts being suspended these 2 nights here, this Friday and Saturday night. So they made the call, no fighting, and they stuck to their guns and made the decision to suspending this upcoming weekend for 2 races. So
Tommy Carlton, Fast Track Plumbing. I saw him on here a minute ago. Tommy, where are you heading this weekend? Just curious. I'm sure he's top side. Tommy Carlton. Wonder where they. Just curious about everybody's plans, but plenty of options. That's for sure. Coming up this weekend, it's going to be another fun weekend. And here's the thing, man. We don't have very many of them left at all. Honestly, so but especially this, it's going to be really nice this weekend too. So we better get out and enjoy them. So
absolutely, go out and support all those tracks that we mentioned tonight, and grab a friend, and go and enjoy some racing Friday night and Saturday night somewhere this weekend. It's going to be good.
Yeah, absolutely, it will. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to, if everything works out, debuting under. Here's the thing, we didn't mention this either. This weekend, so we're going to get a new design going on the dirt race and the Bluegrass House Car. But this weekend, it's going to have a number 9 on the side of it. That's Wes's number. So we'll have it that way for this weekend at least. But then we're going to put a new design on there. I think the plan as of right now, what I'm thinking is I do want to use the car to mainly advertise the podcast and sort of make it a theme with the podcast. But I think I'll leave a couple spaces open there for 2. I think I'm going to go with 2 total. Maybe somebody that wants to sponsor the dirt race and the Bluegrass House Car, just get with me and we'll see. Permanent will be J5. We got to get the J5 back on a race car. Just
Gunner says 9's the best number because it's mine and his.
Yeah, he would say that. Yeah, that is his number. Yeah. No, we'll be going with the J5. So, but yeah, looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun weekend. Come on out, go somewhere. As we've got just who knows how many nice weekends left. Can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll see you at the races.
Thank you all. Have a great night.